have you join us via the phone lines. One of the things I want to know, one of the questions that I have, is what you think about the content of the Asaba Accord. What do you think about the fact that the southern governors are making these demands and plans as a bloc? What do you think about that? Like I said, the southern governors don't meet religiously, right? But now they finally met, and there's been a lot of pushback from a lot of commentators who said that governors should not be having regional meetings. You've got Goodluck Jonathan on the one hand, you've got Atiku Abubakar on the other hand, who have both said, oh, they shouldn't be meeting, right? You've had you have people who point out that well, the northern governors meet all the time, so this should not be a problem. So why is this meeting sparking so many reactions? Why has it ruffled so many feathers? I think that's the first question I'm going to be asking Ikemesit when we do have him back on the line. But yes, please, if the call screeners are listening at the moment, please try to put a call through to Ikemesit. Give him a call back, and let's have him have this conversation with us right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. All right, while we're working to get Ikemesit back on the line, let me tell you that, this open grazing that has grabbed the most headlines, some of the things that we will talk about are, things like if there's no way for the states to stop the militia connected to some herders without banning open grazing in public fields, for example, right? Are there ways that they can do that? Now, you have this situation looking like the governors appear to be of the opinion that open grazing itself is a flashpoint for violence. But I'm wondering if there's a way to solve the problem of the violence without banning open grazing in public fields. We've got Ikemesit back on the line now. Ikemesit, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Apologies for the technical wahala there.
Hi, Sandra. Good evening. It's totally fine. It comes to the territory.
Yes. Anyways, good to have you here. My first question was why you think this meeting has sparked so many reactions. Why has it ruffled so many feathers? Because I was saying when I was introducing the show that the southern governors don't meet all the time, but now that they finally met, you have Goodluck Jonathan, Atiku Abubakar, Malami, Garba Shehu, everybody having something to say about it. And you compare that with the zero reactions we get when northern governors meet, not governors who meet all the time, by the way. So you have to wonder why this particular meeting is getting the reaction it's getting. Why is it ruffling so many feathers?
It's really about the content, right, of the discussion. So, in the national conversation around restructuring, I think, the governors, and especially the southern governors, have coalesced around a particular perspective, which largely circles around the states wanting more control of security. We've had, certainly under this current, democratic dispensation, the Fourth Republic, we've had, more than 2 decades of the federal government largely being responsible for security, as well as a bunch of, other line items. I mean, the exclusive legislative list is more than 50 items long, if I recall. And And when you contrast that, when you interrogate the government's track record on security, it's very hard to see, it's very hard for any dispassionate observer to give, any grade, that's above a passing grade, really. And, many Nigerians are calling for more action, especially from our leaders. And and for the governors, they've made the determination that, this is the politically attractive choice to make. Now, why this has ruffled many feathers is we have many political leaders who are used to this attitude, right, of of a very centralized state. Nigeria has been centralized has run a centralized form of government in one form or the other since 1966. So the governor's demands go against more than 4 decades of established political practice in this country, and everyone who has benefited from anyone who has benefited from this current system is likely to push back. And so all of the reactions mostly in the negative, right, against the governor's what's it called now, against their declaration and stuff, was always likely to be negative. So there are no real surprises here, but it makes sense to underscore the standpoint from which former presidents, former heads of state, current political leaders, are coming from, really, with respect to this. And if I could, extend the boundaries of your question a bit, can any democratic government anywhere in the world where security and policing priorities are as centralized as they are in Nigeria, was always going to be an unsustainable model. And I think, we are seeing the logical consequence of having security priorities being managed from Abuja. And so, whichever way you look at it, this conversation was bound to happen. Unfortunately, we are having this national conversation right now on the backs and on the blood of the lives of many of them, which is very unfortunate. But
why doesn't the Southern Governors Forum meet as often as its northern counterpart?
That's a very good question, Sandra. I think I think lies in the fact that Southern political priorities are not as coherent and as homogeneous as Northern political priorities for the large part. And in many cases, Southern political priorities have largely been dismissed of the world, as well as other forums and platforms, chief of which, are the political parts. But what you've seen with the political discourse over the last, I would say 24 to 48 months, is that, the tenure of the conversation is increased, as, is becoming, increasingly polarized along regional lines. And so, the Southern Nigeria Governors Forum has, as sort of a byproduct of this, wider, political environment that we're in, it's found new relevance. And security, or to put it more accurately, the growth of insecurity is a priority that everyone can relate to, right? From the southwest to the southeast to the south. Everyone wants to be safe. Everyone wants their property secure. Not to have to bury a mother or a child, right? And I think around the central themes of security and restructuring, I think the governors have been able to find enough of a common ground politically, right? That a Southern Nigeria Forum has suddenly become more relevant.
See, now let's look at what they did agree on at this meeting. Open grazing grabbed the most headlines, so let's start there. What are the next steps when it comes to implementing such a decision? The reason I love to have you on the show is that while you are head of research at an intelligence gathering organization, you're also a lawyer, right? So you have a unique set of skills or unique set of insight when it conversations like this. So what are the next steps when it comes to implementing a decision such as a ban on open grazing?
Okay, so there are sort of two levers to this, right? So in terms of implementation, first, um, the the declaration, because I mean, we're in a democratic tradition as we are. The first, the declaration has to be proven to be valid, right? So we know for certain that Benue and Ondo, as if my recollection serves me well, have made declarations within those states. Benue has enacted a law, not so certain that Ondo has, which expressly bans open grazing. So now each state governor actually has to get a law passed through its state house of assembly, which formalizes that declaration which was made in Asaba. That's the first step. Now, will those laws be challenged? The Attorney General of the Federation, right, Abubakar Malami, has already come out to say that the federal government is committed to challenging those laws. However, there's a federal high court decision from last Friday on the Benue law, which is actually the first state law that we know of, right, in the entire country that bans open grazing. It was enacted in 2019, either late 2019 or early 2020, right? And we have a federal high court ruling from Abuja which has upheld the law, right? And basically says that because state governors are invested with with overall legal management titles with respect to land, right? So any land purchase that occurs in this country has to be okayed by a sitting governor of a state. The law necessarily implies land management powers, right, on state governors, which is a reasonably valid legal argument to make. Having said that, that matter has only come up at the federal high court. The more senior courts, the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, are yet to pronounce on it. If the federal government does challenge this, I can easily imagine a class suit which encompasses, if not all the states, but most of the states, right? Especially in the south and the so-called Middle Belt region of central Nigeria, and that matter will have to come up at the Supreme Court, and it will be interesting to hear what the Supreme Court has to say, and for you and I to have that conversation, because this will probably be the second time in 2 weeks that we're having a conversation about Supreme Court pronunciation. So that's sort of the first level, right, into implementation. The states each have to enact laws that formalize the budget. The second step has to do with of seeing, where the conversation around open grazing ties into the wider restructuring. All security agencies, the vast majority of security agencies, certainly the ones that are recognized under federal law, are federal agencies, right? From the armed uniformed services, the police, to the paramilitary services, organizations like the Civil Defense Corps, right, come to mind under that list. All of those are federal agencies. But these particular states, 17 states, right, and if you add Benue, which already has a law enforced 18 states, right, are essentially requiring federal agencies that are creations of federal law to enforce state priorities. There is that's not a totally unprecedented step, right? There are lots of criminal laws that are both federal and state offenses which police force. But
Ah, that's quite unfortunate. Well, we're going to try and get him back on the line, but in the meantime, Lagos, I want to hear from you, yes? What do you think about the Southern Governor's position on open grazing? 014657190, that's for women. For men, 0700993993. We're streaming live on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3, and we obviously have WhatsApp where you can share your thoughts as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-755. Hello, thank you very much.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening. What's your name, sir?
My name is Emmanuel.
Welcome, Emmanuel.
Yeah, thank you. Concerning open grazing,
Okay.
for me, I stand, with Rotimi Adoru.
Okay.
I mean, should be banned totally.
Hmm?
Because all the problem of killings around there, is caused by open grazing.
Okay.
And even in Argentina, where they have the largest, amount of cows, they don't, practice it there. So I see no reason why it should be practiced in this country.
Okay. All
So
right.
it should be totally banned. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. 99.3, hello. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
How are you? What's your name?
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name?
My name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, good to have you on the show. What do you think of the Southern Governor's position on open grazing?
This is the best.
Okay.
This is it.
Okay.
If the cabinet governors say they don't want their cattle, please let them take their cattle to the north.
Southern staff have not even said that they don't want their cattle. They said don't graze them in the trekking with the cattle from place to place.
If they are very late to them, they should obey the governors. They govern simple.
Thank you very much. Welcome. This will reduce farmer and herder clashes. We've got Morgan. It is chronistic, preposterous, and a pure dent into nature. Cabal to say ban on open grazing in the south is illegal. The country is on a precipice and needs well articulated us through so that this house not collapse. Nigeria has never been so badly run and managed. It's a total shame. Morgan from Lekki with that message. We've got a message here. Sandra, governor's position at the Asaba meeting is nothing to celebrate yet until they walk the talk. Oh, it's nothing to celebrate yet until they walk the talk. Okay. Larger restructuring which Nigerians are clamoring for to get us out of woods. The business of cattle rearing is a private one, hence open grazing to be part of our law is a distasteful affront to not only the southerner but the entire landscape of the country. That's a message from Tony Anele. Tony Anele is in Ijegamo. Tony, thank you very much for your message. George from Ejigba says, though the meeting of the Southern governors came a little bit late, it's better late than never. I implore them to be meeting regularly just like their northern counterparts. Another thing is that they should always involve both lower and upper chambers in order for it to receive legal backing. Northerners should not panic because there's nothing to worry about here. George from Ejibo with that message. George, thank you very much. And thank you, Lagos, for all the comments coming in via WhatsApp, all the comments coming in via the phone lines. My phone lines are crazy at the moment. Everybody trying to call in. But see, here's what we're going to do. Keep those calls coming in, but you have to wait until, let's see, 5:36. By the time it's 5:36, I'll come back and take more of your calls. Right now, though, we need to take a break. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll take this break, but we'll come back at 5:36 to take more of your calls. And you can keep listening online as well.
You've always wished you had a Samsung washing machine? Now you can get one in the Super Deals promo. From now to the 31st of May, you can get up to a 24% discount when you buy a Samsung Twin Tub washing machine and an 11% discount on drum washing machines. Get a washing machine and enjoy innovative technology that only Samsung can provide. Stay connected with Samsung.
The best of talk radio to start your day. The Morning Crossfire with Sheriff Cordy.
It is government's silence and the silence on the part of the rest of us that have fueled all of this insecurity. Even from Lagos to Ibadan now, you need the blood of Jesus.
This thing is a political game. Jordan Barras, the others and the rest. The men of their wives are widows. They have been paid 60,000, 100,000. You today have not paid my children's school fees. Even in our group chat, if you say anything about your boss or you complain, they will block you and remove from the group. Because I've seen the truth.
The Morning Crossfire with Sheriff Cordy. Weekdays 5 to 9 a.m. on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
My car was parked in front of my house and was vandalized. My neighbor said he actually looked through the window and saw the people
that. Let's talk.
Enjoy the fresh vibes of La Casera with new colorful, exciting look. But the Bangba apple test no change. La Casera, I love this drink.
8 times 500 naira, 4,000 naira, 8,000. Hi!
I beg, where on they see this money?
Money care. Now the Ogbo they summer me as I buy new SIM card. See, then they give me double data subscription plus 8 times a woof anytime I recharge.
Oh boy, what's up for me now?
You know, say you fit buy SIM card now for any accredited Airtel shop, ba? Just go there with your NIN, just like that.
Sure guy.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
You've always wished you had a Samsung washing machine? Now you can get one in the Super Deals promo. From now to the 31st of May, you can get up to a 24% discount when you buy Samsung Twin Tub washing machine and an 11% discount on drum washing machines. Get a washing machine and enjoy innovative technology that only Samsung can provide. Stay connected with Samsung.
Charles!
Yes, mommy.
Go and bring 2 sachets of hypo bleach for me.
Why 2?
Because I'm using one to soak the whites and using one to kill all.
But I can't see any germs here.
They are so tiny you can't see them, but they are there, and that is why I only to kill them all.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your household free of illness causing germs and viruses with the disinfecting power of hypo bleach.
Who be this now? This person go scatter my phone, oh. How far? You won't blow my phone?
Guy, I don't even get airtime to flash. Now why they beep you with glow beep?
And so?
The man Coco be say, that babe, where you done the shadow since, they with me now.
Now lie. Where you dey?
They T-bar and she find scatter. See, some men don't they try their local.
Now lie. Oh boy, no.
Now you can pass that urgent message on Glow Beep even with zero balance. Dial any network on zero balance and Glow Beep will notify that number with a missed call alert. Never miss a call with Glow Beep.
Glow Unlimited.
Enjoy the fresh vibes of La Casera with new colorful, exciting look. But the Bangba apple test no change. La Casera, I love this drink.
Hi there. If anyone ever asks you for your banking app, password, or PIN, your card PIN, or the 3 numbers on the back of your card, your pay ID, or answers to your security questions, do not give it to them. These details are private and highly confidential. They must never be shared. Stay smart. Don't lose your money to scammers. This message is from Finance, the bank of the download Kuda on the Play Store or the App Store and open an account to enjoy free banking.
8 times 500 naira, 4,000 naira. 8 times 5,000. Hi!
I beg, where on they see this money?
Money care. Now the Ogbonge bonus where they summer me as I buy new SIM card. See, then they give me double data subscription plus 8 times a woof anytime I recharge.
Oh boy, what's up for me now?
You know, say you fit buy SIM card now for any accredited Airtel shop, ba? Just go there with your NIN, just like that.
Sure guy.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
You've always wished wish to have a Samsung washing? Now you can get one in the Super Deals promo. From now to the 31st of May, you can get up to a 24% discount when you buy a Samsung twin tub washing machine and an 11% discount on drum washing machines. Get a washing machine and enjoy innovative technology that only Samsung can provide. Stay connected with Samsung.
Are you yet to register for your JAM UTME and direct entry exams? What are you waiting for? Now you can purchase your PIN on Remita. Hurry now to www.remita.net/jam to buy your JAM PIN or download the Remita mobile app on Android and Apple stores to purchase your JAM PIN. You can pay using any payment method convenient for you. Remember, JAM registration ends in a few days, so don't be caught unawares. For more information, visit www.remita.net/jam. Remita, because payments should be easy.
8 times 500 naira, 4,000 naira. 8 times 5,000. Hi!
I beg, where on they see this money?
Money care. Now the ogbonge bonus we had the summer me as I buy new SIM card. See, then they give me double data subscription plus 8 times a woof anytime I recharge.
Oh boy, what's up for me now?
You know, say you fit buy SIM card now for any accredited Airtel shop, ba? Just go there with your NIN, just like that.
Sure guy.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
I have to read for my exams, but I feel so sleepy.
Hey, drink Amber.
Omo, this work, I tire gone. Alaye, you no go drink Amber.
I'm not sure I can meet that deadline.
You can't, Joe. Drink Amber. This traffic na die. Guy, not to drink Amber. That's one can of Amber and recommended dose of nutrients, vitamin, citric acid, blend of guarana, a natural caffeine to give huge rush of energy to get you through your, and don't forget your tip to blow your mind.
Last, wala for uno de drink Amber.
Amber Lee9 and available in store drink. Stim the energy in you.
Hi there. If anyone ever asked you for your banking app password or PIN, your card PIN or the 3 numbers on the back of your card, your pay ID or answers to your security questions, do not give it to them. These details are private and highly confidential. They must never be shared. Stay smart. Don't lose your money to scammers. This message is from Kuda Microfinance Bank, the bank of the free. Download Kuda on the Play Store or the App Store and open an account to enjoy free banking.
Listen and brighten, make everybody wonder. Give me big doesn't matter. For sure, your dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better. Lush hair. So you want to slip with swag? Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. Straight up curly. You know it. Lie. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. You wonder how I shine like this. I'm on a lush hair, be the coco. Say you want to know. And if you wanna be fine like me, I can show you where to go. A lush hair, be the coco.
Beautiful people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be
Enjoy the fresh vibes of La Casera with new colorful, exciting look. But the Bangba apple test no change. La Casera, I love this drink.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
I'm Sandra. Currently 37, and before the break, about this meeting held in Asaba by Southern governors, a meeting that led to several decisions, including a ban on open grazing. I have Ikemesi Young on the phone with me. He is the head of research at SBM Intelligence. He's also a legal practitioner, and he's helping us understand, number one, why this meeting seems to have ruffled a lot of feathers. Number two, how this meeting, how some of the resolutions from this meeting will be implemented. And number three, what happens next. Ikemesi, thank you so much for staying on the line. Lagos, of course, and the conversation is 01465 710. WhatsApp is 080 and the number for men is 0700 Ikema said there's some debate about how herders should be transitioned from open grazing. So some groups are calling for the government, federal and states, to set up ranching schemes for the herders. But other people are saying that herding is a private business. It's the responsibility of the business owners to make the investments in their business to comply with the law. Does government have an obligation to set up ranching?
Well, an obligation in terms of like a legal mandatory obligation to do so. Of course not. Government doesn't have that, obligation to do so. However, in a situation like this where the problem has both, or the issue has both, has significant economic, political, and security implications, then you can make a case for, a government-led approach that aids the transition of herders to a more settled ranch type model. Now, what would the exact specifics of that look like, in terms of actual practice? I think it should be left up to the states. So, flowing back to sort of what the legal architecture of land management is, is in Nigeria as currently set up. The states have a lot of leeway, in terms of determining, how they kind of allocate, land, for that purpose. So, if a given state says, they want to use, the governor's legal authority to expropriate, land, of course, subject to, compensation for existing land owners. For, and set up, and run, right, a ranch type mechanism within their borders, then, they're very well free, to do so, at least legally speaking. And if there are states who do not want to do that and actually want to compel herders to, go through, a competitive, mechanism where they actually have to look for and acquire such property, then, very well, those states should be allowed. I think, where you begin to run into a problem is where, state governors, use political mechanisms to determine those priorities without.
Ikemasit? Oh no. Hello? Okay, I think we've lost the connection to Ikemasit because my next question was going to be if there's no way for the states to stop the militia connected to some herders without banning open grazing. So we are going to try and get back in touch with Ikemasit. And when we do, he'll join us again and we'll continue this conversation right where we left off. Lagos, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I will plead with you to please stop calling. Don't call right now. Please, so that we can get back in touch with Ikemasit. And I feel like every time I say don't call, Lagos just starts calling just to annoy me small, But please, so that we can get back in touch with the chemist and continue that conversation. But I will give you a chance to join the conversation yourself. And if you just tuned in, what I'm asking today is if the Southern governors will stick to the Asaba Accord. The Asaba Accord is the meeting that happened 2 weeks ago with all 17 Southern governors. And they came out of that meeting with a list of agreement among themselves. And they had demands for the president as well. Their agenda covered security, commerce, infrastructure, restructuring. And I told you that apart from a meeting in 2017, the last regular meeting of the Southern Governors Forum was in 2005. So it's not a group that meets regularly. It's not even a group that generally acts as one. You know what I mean? So it's and if you think about it, it's quite different from the Northern Governors Forum, who meet quite frequently, or even the party-based governors groups that meet quite frequently, right? But they finally met, and the meeting has gotten the whole country talking. And as your number one station for talk, well, it makes sense that we also talk right here. I thought we just got Ikemesit back on the line, but it looks like it didn't quite connect. I don't know what happened, but it looks like the connection didn't quite go through. Well, we are hoping that it does connect or reconnect. If it does, we'll talk to him. If it doesn't, we'll come to you, Lagos. Okay. Oh, we have him on the line now. Ikemesit, hi.
Hi, I'm so sorry. It's that kind of day, right?
It's okay. It's one of those days. So I was asking. I mean, you addressed my question about if government has an obligation. My next question is if there is no way for the states to stop the militias connected to some herders without banning open grazing in public fields, for example. Did you catch that?
Hello, Sandra, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Fantastic, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So did you catch my question?
No, I missed large parts of it.
I was asking if there is no way for the states to stop the militias connected to some herders without banning open grazing in public fields, for example.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there is, right? So I mean, you know, so that we need to look at the entire business model of herding, right? So pastoralism requires one large, of near unfettered access to large portions of mostly fallow land, right? Just lying there waiting to be, moved upon, entered in, and and used and utilized for herding purposes. Nigeria's population growth rate is 2.5% per annum. When the original livestock management plan was incident economic priorities